Once more, darkness falls upon the city. You wake up same as you have this past few nights, in a windowless room. As you pry open the reinforced steel door, you look out the window to see invariably a sky bereft of sunlight, and then it hits you, hunger. For a moment you let yourself wonder if there will ever come a night when it's just not there. Given what you've learned thus far, you probably have as much chance of kick-starting your heart with jumper cables. You lock the apartment behind you and head over to Sophie's apartment. You did promise to call on her, might as well not keep a lady waiting. And hey, what else are you gonna do? Call Jess? Yeah, right. What will you tell her? If she even picked up at all, she'd probably use the opportunity to stick some more needles in you. Or worse, persuade you to come back. Or go back to work? Yeah, who are you kidding? HR probably found a replacement the day after you went missing. Nobody ever cares if you get kidnapped or turned into a creature of the night. These thoughts put you in a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk into crowded streets, same as you have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, you're not one of them, not anymore. You're a vampire, kindred, and you need to carve your own path in this strange new existence, one way or another. Appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building just as that thought crosses your mind. A quick word with the security guard and you're let into the elevator. Apparently Miss Langley is expecting you. Of course she is. You knock and wait patiently as the footsteps on the other side grow closer. Finally the door opens and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites you in. You find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city midnight glow. She stares out, motionless like a marble statue. I feel alright, am I interrupting something? Good evening, Sophie. I don't know if I'm just misreading this, but she looks not in the best kind of mood. I'm not exactly sure how to approach this. Good evening, Sophie. She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of her meditative state and looks at you with strangely bleary eyes. Yes, good evening, Joe. I was wondering, when you look out of the city, when you see the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? You gaze out. Lights and rain, relentless honking below, music blasting from a nearby window, echoing off of the buildings. Somebody should record an hour of this and throw it up on YouTube as an ambient piece. Other than that, though, it's business as usual. The sights, the sounds, the smells, you know them all too well. Sophie watches you. You can tell she's disappointed somehow, but she covers it up with a courteous smile. Well, not everyone could appreciate the intricacy of what the world offers. In fact, many kindred of my clan are somewhat notorious for finding innate meaning even the mundane. You are not Malkavian, are you? You see blood that flows within me is that of Clan Toreador. Okay, let's just consult that because I always get confused by that. Many Toreador emerge from ranks of accomplished artists, both new and faded, but not all artists need to wield a brush. The Toreador art encompasses all forms of entertainment and stimulation. The clan of the Rose guards the greatest actors, singers, writers, dancers, and even sex workers. If the degenerates believe such mortals will offer something new to their clan. Despite the custom of embracing only the best, the Toreador fixation on beauty and innocence has caused many a diva to make a fledgling in haste. Many a moonlit night, new clan members have emerged as shallow hedonists, one-hit wonders, or just a stunning body with nothing else to offer. Nicknames divas, harlots, sensates, perverts, hedonists, degenerates. I wonder if there is actually going to be Malkavian. I can't wait. There are 13 such bloodlines among us kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights it seems that nothing is certain anymore. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these nights have their roots in medieval times. The original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used this to categorize us, described our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it. inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor, carried from sire to child. For the Toreador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot, a blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressured to see him as such. Poor Kadir, it breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there's a beauty to it as well, nothing like a good fall from grace. Try as you might to act playful, you can tell she genuinely cares. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment, but is quick to regain her composure. Then there are the Ventrue, known for their pride and a proclivity to rule over the others. The prince represents that clan and is quite common in our society around the globe. Where the Bloods think themselves rulers, the Bruja like to see themselves the preeminent revolutionaries. They call for universal rebellion, while being slaves to their own temper. We don't discuss the rebel much anymore, not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. They think they were philosophers once long ago. I hope to tell you more about some of the bloodlines tonight. What is my clan? Well, it's Bruja, obviously. How can I tell a kindred's clan? Clans stick together, right? How can I tell a kindred's clan? Say, I met a vampire for the first time. How can I tell what their clan is? Usually you cannot, with few exceptions perhaps, Nosferatu. For some clans their uniqueness, I mentioned, bleeds into their appearance of disposition, but even that can be misleading. Outside a few very specific cases, knowing one's clan is less important than understanding who they are personally, what drives them, their wants and needs, weaknesses too. Speaking of which, we come to the reason I wanted to speak to you tonight. It is customary in our society to, especially among younger kindred, to organize into coteries. Sometimes those are called by the princes themselves, or mandated by the fledgling sire. In our case, you might treat it as most of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it is useful. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. Where the hell should look for allies? Do you have your own coterie? What if I want to give yeah, that. Suppose I'm not a social type and would rather go at it alone. What then? Then you gotta begin Growl! And that's one I wanted to play, but I don't have an option! Well, if you find the company of others disagreeable, I certainly don't intend to force it on you. I'm sure you'll find other ways to burn the nights away. But if you ever find yourself in need of assistance, knowledge, or just someone to talk to, it might be painful to realize there's nobody out there for you. Should you get yourself in a tight spot, I will not always be available or willing to lend a hand, so I would suggest you take this as recommendation seriously. She puts on a mysterious smile. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Fortunately, a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints what I cannot provide, lenses through which to view our kind. They are all members of a Camarilla, of course, more or less. Okay, who are they? Thanks, I guess. You choosing friends for me? Okay, that's very Bruja of me to say. Let's stick to Bruja. Wait, you're choosing friends for me now? Is this like a playdate thing? Don't try to get clever with me, darling. Think of it as a gift. One you can put to good use or squander entirely. Either way, you're welcome. So let us start with the Tremere. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of a Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. Okay, there are three clans I wanted to play. Malkavian, Gangrel, and Tremere. Those are the clans I wanted to play, and none of them are available. It sucks! You look at Sophie with a hint of disbelief. Blood sorcerers? Pretty sure Mark from Q&A used to brag about having level 70 blood sorcerer. Somehow you don't think he meant magical vampires. Sophie sneakers. Oh child, don't be caught with that look on your face when you met a warlock in person. They really are adept at using Vitae, their own, as well as others, to unique and potent effects. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind, for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he is quite a scholar, very ambitious, the child of a noted premier here in New York. He is in Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon, and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. But magic intriguing? Scholar sounds boring. A chance to meet an important person, then. So blood magic thing sounds intriguing. Oh yes, fascinating. It is also a well-kept secret of the Tremere. Don't expect them to share it right away. Some of things have to be earned. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremere, I hear you can usually find them. Find him in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremere have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at the first glance. Nosferatu. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeve. The Nosferatu. Man, what's with the goofy names? Guess they're really big on Blue Oyster Cult. I don't know what reference. No wonder they make their heavens and sewers, abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of their existence long ago. Did she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took an even more sickly color. Yeah, Nosferatu and her clan really do not like each other. One I have in mind isn't as big as an eyesore as the worst of them, but he's no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connection what you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me, ones with an awful furniture. What, IKEA? Swedish furniture store, you mean IKEA? Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Coterie, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden, the kind of work that Nosferatu are best at. He's on a case right now, something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might be just the thing. Should take a brief pause to look out of the window again. Now come to more exotic proposals. Exotic? As a blood mage and a vampire detective are business as usual. You may have heard about Gangrel before. Up. They are a wild clan in touch with their beast, and way others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of the big cities, but there are a few exceptions. Okay, I just wanna brush up on that. Clan Gangrel are outcasts, wanderers, rogues and hunters. They make havens in the poorest parts of the city and feel no shame for doing so. They claim their few domains as their own, but defer to no prince. If a feral enters the city, the prince will either accept it or have to fight the feral to get them to back down. Gangrel embraced from ranks of survivors and fighters, leaders of prison crews and gangs, explorers, urban and otherwise, and any kind who sees the world as something to traverse instead of something to hide from. They care not for looks or title, but for accomplishments and reputation. They are commonly referred to as wolves, feral, and outcasts, or in a more derogatory matter as animals, strays, and savages. And that's the one I chose. Nominally, they haven't been part of a Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I would like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Are we gonna meet Beckett? Actually, I think Tamika might be connected to Beckett now when I think about it. I'm not exactly sure about that. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York, back in 99, the very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unnoticed. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain that they were rented after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. Anything more about Tamika? You mentioned siblings. So, Morgan Girl. Should I contact non-Camarilla clans? As an anarch? As a bruja? Yeah, that's a stupid question. Anything more about Tamika? You seem to don't know a lot about her sire, but is there anything else you can tell me about Tamika? I asked around. One of old Jezebel's children, Tamika is known to be the most rational and cool-headed, at least for a gangrel. That said, she's likely to have a unique way of appraising your worth. I can't say how exactly, but you should be prepared for an interesting conversation at the very least. And that's what I'm here for. Then again, that could be said of almost every kindred in the city. There's that mysterious smile again. So, you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational if nothing else, and who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you. Well, it's one I don't make lightly. The kindred who calls herself Hope. She is a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries we considered them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. Okay, so, yeah, Malkavians are actually the ones I meant, not Nosferatu. I keep getting confused. Gangrel, Malkavian, and I forgot. Tremere? Psychologists would diagnose the children of Malkav with schizophrenia, depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or post-traumatic stress disorder, sometimes all at once. In reality, Clan of the Moon are all of these things and none. Like a wise madman of poetry, their derangement stems from seeing too much of a world at once, from understanding too deeply, and feeling emotions that are too strong to bear. They self-medicate with blood, but that is just a temporary solution. All Malkavians suffer mental illness following the embrace, sometimes accentuating an existing condition, other times adding a new dimension to their instability. As if their thoughts and actions were based on otherworldly logic, there seems to be no knowing when their condition will manifest destructively, or when it will offer important perspectives where such were previously lacking. They're referred to as oracles, jesters, and visionaries, or in a more insulting matter as madmen, liabilities, and lunatics. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of a world. What has them appear to be thus is unstable, and that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope specifically, she is said to be reclusive, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe. I believe it's called in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has that address. She doesn't sound like my type. Not a cafe? Quaint. Where did you learn about Hope? She doesn't sound like my type. Let's go with that. An internet cafe? Really? How quaint. I really won't know. But since you brought it up, be aware that Camarilla is highly critical of using the internet to communicate. The Second Inquisition made sure of that. Exercise caution when at her haven. Okay, I wanna hear about that. Often abbreviated as SI. A collective name among vampires for recent coordinated efforts of intelligence agencies to combat the kindred as if they were a terrorist threat. Few individual agents understand what they are fighting, and the intra-agency collaboration codenamed First Light places enormous import on keeping operations secret and disguised as ordinary anti-terrorist action. I know nothing about this. I think it might have happened after Bloodlines. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I'll send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, that reminds me. You will need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat, and the three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous compact car, a decent looking, if not luxurious ride. Stay safe, Joe. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had in the past few nights. Blessing or a burden? Time will tell. With a list of addresses in hand, you consider your next move. Some names would be nice. I assume this is Tamika. Jezebel, yep, that's Tamika. Sophie mentioned the vampire clan of blood sources suspect your attention. One of them, Agathon, could potentially be your introduction into the bizarre powers of Tremere. Sophie suggested you meet Hope, a reclusive member of Malkavian clan. She supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in lower Manhattan. Recent string of violent killings have the Red Hook district on Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir Al-Asmai has a secret associate investigating the murders, a Nosferatu neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. That's how he looks. He does look like a Nosferatu. Sophie mentioned the gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in the Prospect Park. The Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standard, but if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out for just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. Well, I think our choice is obvious. I want to stick with my clan. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arc. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the places you've seen it countless times, in broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the northwest gate into the Prospect Park. Okay, second. Get in the drive road. The park has its usual maze of unkempt foliage and dimly lit alleys, whatever. Silence hangs in the air, as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Langley's sources fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees, quick but evenly paced, most likely a late-night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill two birds with one stone. Well, I fed quite a bit last time. I don't wanna upset Gangrel. Feed opportunity midnight jogger. Seek out Gangrel Haven. Walk around the park. I believe she would find me. So let's just walk around the park. You make your way through a park, just casually enough to draw the attention of anyone who might be watching. Suddenly you hear a faint noise, rustling of leaves coming from a nearby ditch. Stand motionless, listening intently. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger-shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A cloud shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, alright, but he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a he. Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your flow in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to her, puffing up his chest.
Stay out of it, Tam. Smell them first.
Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back to you.
Should have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie.
Tamika looks to you expectantly. Easy way, I'm not looking for a fight. So you can bark, let's see if you can bite. Alright boy, let's see if you can bite as bad as you bark. Clearly taken aback, he looks over to Tamika, as if gauging her reaction. I guess I know who Alpha is. A barely visible smile creeps up from Tamika's lips. The man's eyes narrow. Although you can't really see it, you could bet the hair on the back of his neck just stood up.
Shut your fucking mouth, pretty boy. Should have run when you had a chance.
A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm yet oddly affectionate. It's okay, Declan. I'll handle it from here. The male gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment, and he turns back toward you.
You wanna waste time on this asshole, Tam? Be my guest.
Having said his piece, Roll retreats into the shadow. He never said his name. Where did you get that? Although, if you're to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Straight to the point, I like that. I could use your help. But put a leash in that point of yours. I don't think I'm gonna go with that. I don't want to upset her, and there's no reason to just push her buttons. I could use your help. Short story, I'm new here and I'm looking for a chance to leave my mark. Maybe shake things up a bit in the process. I could use your help. Why me? My sources claim you're capable. Why not? An inkling of a smile creeps across her lips. Yeah, I know exactly what to say to you. Let's just get this one thing straight. If you're looking for a hired gun, I'm not the type. I'm not hiring. I'm offering you my help, should you ever need it, and in time, perhaps also my friendship. Do I strike you as someone who needs a friend? You're looking for a way out? Does I abandon you? She seems to be doing fine. You know what I would say? You can always use an L1. You're looking for a way out? Yes, I abandon you. I think that might upset her. Yeah, you do. For the first time tonight, she seems caught off guard. You said to press the advantage. I know it's not much. I know you've been burned. I know it's not much. Look, I know it's not much, but I sure as hell could use someone to watch my back, so I could watch theirs. So, what do you say? For a brief moment she stands there motionless, looking straight into your eyes, as if trying to size you up. Finally she looks away. Looks like she's come to a decision. Just so we're clear, I don't trust you. I have no reason to. Frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, you have that earnest look about you, and naive almost. I can tell you believe what you're saying. I do! So I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding business to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here, I'll see what you're really made of. And with that, Tamika disappeared into the night. That done pretty well, all things considered. Okay. Yeah, I doubt I'll make it. It won't let me, right? Yeah, I need to rest. You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. There's a letter slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter is clear that it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends a letter like this. The note is small and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious information for the following night. Was this a new one? Faith and Myth, Part 1. You received an invitation to meet a mysterious someone at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Well, if it were up to me, I would not be going there. Tamika invited me, so I should go with her, right? But then turn into your haven, you find a small scrap of paper and I need a favor. If you're up for it, come meet me in Prospect, Tam. Well, you got me, girl. I'm a-comin'. Once again you cross the gate of Prospect Park and head straight for where you last saw the feral duo. Minutes pass. Finding no sign of Tamika, you begin to worry that something might have happened to her. Suddenly you hear rustling coming from nearby bushes, and it's not a stray cat kind of rustling either. Trevor's hiding in those bushes. I'm not gonna hear you, right? Tamika? Dustin stops, if only for a second. Suddenly the bushes part and Raoul walks out, desperately trying to look confident.
You fish! Listen, I wanted to have a word with you before Tam gets here. She seems to like you for whatever strange reason, but the way I see it, you're a nuisance at best. At worst, you're a threat.
He'll warm up to me. Is there a point to his speech? You don't like me, got it. That's just an asshole thing to say. I think I'll go with this. I get it, you don't like me. Forgive me if I don't lose any sleep over it.
You should, because when I don't like someone, I do something about it, and it's usually not pleasant. Tamika's my sister, in every sense of the word what counts. And if it happens to her that I find even remotely your fault, I'm coming after you. Is that clear?
Crystal, now fuck off. She doesn't need a babysitter. Tamika seems pretty capable. Don't think she needs you babysitting her.
Oh, she's plenty capable. Given the opportunity, she'll rip your guts out if you cross her. What I'm saying is, anything happens to her, I'm holding you accountable.
All of a sudden the sound of footsteps reaches your ears. It's just faint enough to not be ostentatious, but still loud enough to hear. You can tell whoever's approaching wants to make their presence known. The funeral will turn just in time to see Tamika emerge from behind an old sycamore tree. It's hard to tell just how long she's been listening in on your conversation. In any case, she walks up and speaks, addressing no one in particular. Did I miss anything? Your brother's worried about you. Your brother's been an asshole. Nothing important. Nothing too important. We're just having a chat. Oh, you know. She gives Raoul a scornful look, like she's about to rub his nose in his own poop. What about?
Nothing. You know where to look for me, Tam.
Sure do. And with that, Raoul takes his leave. Tamika waits in silence, just long enough to make sure he can no longer hear her, and addresses you. I have a favor to ask.
For you, anything? What is it? I like my favors returned.
I'll go with what is it. Okay, what is it? I have an errand to run. I was hoping you'd come with me. There's a place east of here. It's a short walk. We should be back in about 2, maybe 3 hours.
What, we're walking? 3 hours? You call it short?
So, beginning of the night. Well, it's at least midnight, so it's probably 3 a.m. I don't know what time of year it is. I'm just thinking how much more time I'm gonna have after this errand. Wait, we're walking? Wait, we're walking? As in, on foot? In the New York City? I don't like cars, alright? They remind me of old times before I became this. Can be distracting. So, can we go?
Sure, let's go.
Sure, we can go now if you're ready. Well, alright. And so you head toward the parking lot, accompanied by Tamika and a lot of unanswered questions. Following Tamika's directions, you finally arrive at the Evergreen Cemetery, one of the oldest burying grounds in Brooklyn. And god damn is it gorgeous! You enter through the southwestern gate and follow your companion through a sea of tombstones. You know, at times like this I wish I had a bigger screen so I can just witness it in a full, zoomed-in glory. It's a nice enough place as far as graveyards go, much less homogenized than the usual flat fields littered with identical markers. Tamika confidently presses on, swerving and weaving along a pre-programmed path. It's clear she's been here more than a few times. Finally she takes a sharp left and takes a few more steps down a gravel walkway, coming to a sudden stop in front of a modest headstone. The inscription reads, Lucas Santiago, beloved sister and daughter, born in 1991, taken from us too soon. With her eyes fixed on the gravestone, she lets out an absent-minded utterance. I need a moment alone. Not long. 5 minutes at most. You look around in search of a good spot to wait for her, or pass the time. On the far end of a nearby lawn, you notice a long bench, situated under a weeping willow. Suddenly you hear voices, distant but slowly approaching. Judging by the tone and timbre, you're guessing it's a couple of teenagers, out to get their late-night kicks among the dearly departed. Might be a good chance to feed. Then again, you could just pass the time walking around the area. It's actually quite nice, in a dark and somber kind of way. I don't see a reason not to. I'll take a walk, I'll wait on the bench by the tree. Let's go with feeding. Take your time. I think I'll go grab myself a drink. Just do it quietly. I don't want any trouble. Not here. You leave Tamika alone and follow voices. Soon enough, you come upon a couple in their late teens. Judging by the thick eyeliner and their clothes, consisting mostly of black leather and lace, you'd venture a guess what they'd love nothing more than to meet an actual vampire. You're happy to oblige. As you emerge from the shadows, you can feel your all intensify. The boy and the girl watch you, completely awestruck, waiting for you to approach. The slightest gesture is enough to shoo the boy away. He sits on a nearby bench and watches, completely enamored, as you leap, press against the girl's neck. It's a weird sensation to feel actual, honest-to-God pride in the victim's blood, but here you are. She's glad to have been chosen in this way. You decide there's no good reason to be discriminate, and also take a sip from the guy. His body odor is pretty terrible, but the taste of his blood isn't half bad. Hoping that in post-kiss days will make your face just an impression in their memory, you leave them on the bench, just as they let their excited hormones run wild and start making out, furiously. You half expect Kadir to materialize sword in hand to deal with these loose ends, or with you, for leaving them to roam like you did. You'll need to be more careful in the future. Finally, you get back to the tree and find Tamika sitting on the bench. Without a word, you sit next to her. You look over to her, doing your best not to stare. She looks down, crossing her arms and putting her hands on her shoulders. In an instant, the ferocious savage disappears, replaced by a vulnerable young woman. I think I'm done. You okay? Who was she? Who was she? Look at her. So, who was she? A sister and a friend. Sorry, I'm being monosyllabic again, aren't I? She looks away. You can tell she's struggling to open up to you, so you remain silent, trying not to make her uncomfortable. I was embraced not too far from here, in a cemetery, a fitting spot, I suppose. It was close to a decade ago. I had been on the road for a couple of years at this point, hitchhiking from one town to another. New York was supposed to be just another stop. And then I met Jezebel. She was strong, smart, independent, seemed like someone I could trust, someone I could get close to. She never made me feel inadequate or ashamed, and she could hold her own in a fistfight too. Funny thing though, she only wanted to meet during nighttime. I didn't think much of it, even came up with excuses for her. Busy, eccentric, whatever worked. Until one night she sank her teeth into my neck. At least you knew your sire. She's still around? Sounds like quite a gal. She's still around? Keep using that past tense. I take it she's no longer around? She's not dead, if that's what you're asking. At least not what I know of. She left soon after turning me. I think the conclave of Prague really shook her up. She left you alone doesn't justify leaving you. Conclave of Prague? Wait, the conclave of what now? Prague. It's a city in central... Okay. That I know. Thank you. A city in Central Europe. It was supposed to be a neutral ground, a good place to discuss politics and strategy. It ended up turning into a civil war. Almost turned into a civil war. Next thing you know, the anarchs were expunged from Escamarilla. All they had done for our kind, the blood they spilled, it didn't amount to a thing. I can't blame Jezebel for feeling betrayed, but yeah, even though I still had Raoul and Luca, I was still furious and terrified. Luca died a few years later. Operation Lights Out, they called it. It was a coordinated assault by the Second Inquisition, a genocide by any other name. Her family got together, brought up a plot and buried an empty casket. I guess they wanted some closure. Can't fault them for that. Even though she's not really here, I like to come and visit from time to time. It reminds me of who I am. Keeps me in check, keeps the beast at bay. Also, this being a place of my embrace, you have to appreciate that level of irony. She straightens up, looks at you as if something just occurred to her. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. One minute I'm all grunts and stares, the next I'm giving you a biography. I guess I'm just tired of being scared, alone. You don't have to be alone. Looking for a place to belong. I think she doesn't have to be alone. I used to think so, but those were simpler times. At this point I'm just looking for something to believe in, someone I could give a damn about. You have Raoul. You always have Raoul. She smiles sadly. You lie? Don't get me wrong, Raoul is my brother. The bond between us is not easily broken. But he's got ideas and ambitions of his own. He won't always be there to watch my back. I can't expect that of him. You open your mouth, but before you can make a sound, Tamika motions you to keep quiet. She lifts her head and sniffs the air. Her ears perk up. Her eyes widen. Suddenly she pushes you with all her strength, sending you flying off a bench. Before you even hit the ground, an immense shape flies into view and smashes down into the bench, splintering it into pieces. With the blood surging through your veins, you pounce under your feet. You look at the mass of fur and muscles that just nearly pulverize you. The creature rears its head, gives you a deranged stare. And it turns to Tamika. She seems utterly terrified, frozen in place, as if she literally just saw a ghost. You notice the creature shifts its weight, as if preparing to pounce. Potence, attack the creature, yell to warn Tamika. Tamika, get the creature's attention. Potence. Do I have a list of abilities I have? Cause as Bruja I'm not sure which ones I have. Come on. Clan Bruja. I've always embraced from ranks of those sympathetic to counterculture and revolution. We seek out allies who question normative ideas and recognize the fire of oppressed. We gravitate toward the underdog. Common perception place punks, gang members, mal-adjusted immigrants rejected by a society which should protect them, and placard-carrying and Molotov-wielding rioters among the Bruja. While the above is sometimes true, the clan adheres to no single ideology. Their desire for dissent reaches as deep as the fraudster ripping off his own company, the lawyer representing the poor pro bono, the neo-Nazi claiming to be alt-right, and the basement dweller downloading thousands of movies illegally for redistribution on streaming sites. Fledgling embraced to fight and protest are commonly referred to as rebels, punks, or rebel. Yeah, it doesn't list any powers. Well, let's try. Feeling as if your muscles turn to steel, you ram the creature before it can throw itself at Tamika. The beast flies through the air and smashes its back against a tree. In a matter of seconds, however, it gets back on its feet. Your attack might have surprised it, but it clearly didn't do any real damage. The creature then turns toward you. For a second or two, it moves its mouth awkwardly, as if trying to remember how to form words.
Stay out my ground.
The creature runs off toward nearby clearing, when all of a sudden a gunshot sends it stumbling onto the ground. A group of well-armed men in a body armor emerge from a shadow around it and move in closer in an orderly formation. Look out to meet them, stand and fight, retreat and hide. I wanna follow Tamika's lead. What is she doing exactly? Walk out to meet those people with guns. Hey guys, how you doing? Well... I think retreat might be a good idea, but I'm not sure how Tamika will feel about that. Why is there no option to consult her? Let's go with retreat. Not sure what to make of what's happening, you figure it's best to get out of sight. As you start backing away into nearby bushes, you notice Tamika following your lead. From relative safety of a thick foliage, you watch in silence as a group of armed men subdue the creature using steel nets and cattle prods. In the corner of your eye, you watch Tamika looking away as if she found this whole spectacle somehow distasteful. She speaks under her breath, her voice shaking. Can I get out of here? You see no reason to object. The walk back turns out to be quiet and somber experience. You both walk in silence, in the city, a blur of lights and cars careening by. You look over to Tamika, she seems lost in her thoughts. Finally you decide to break the silence. What was that thing back there? Okay, so Gangrel can shapeshift. They aren't like werewolves, but they can turn into some sort of creature. So what I'm more curious about is who are those guys? Do you have any idea who those guys were? They looked like they knew what they were doing. They did. They spent their whole lives either training or hunting our kind. They have a second inquisition. It's been a while since I saw them operating in New York. I would never expected them to go after the scared one. Hell, until today I wasn't even sure he existed. The scared one? That's the only name he's known by. He's a cautionary tale for a young girl. Here's what happens when you let a beast take over. I always figured him more of a metaphor. Seeing him in real life, it's like if a Christian just happened to run into Judas Iscariot one day. And seeing him hunted by the SI, I don't know what to think. I don't even know where to start thinking. Deciding to give her some space, you spend the rest of the walk in silence. Soon enough, a familiar tree line of Prospect Park comes into view. You stop by the entrance nearest to Tamika's haven. You keep walking without a word, or so much as a glance in your direction. She stops after several paces and turns back toward you. I'm sorry, thank you for coming with me, but now I have a lot of shit to figure out. Once I do, I'll let you know. And with that, she disappears among the trees. Seeing no point in sticking around, you take your leave. I'm still in the middle of the night. Well, Should I go with that? I don't think I will. I think I'll go to Moncavian. It's quite moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days, but behind the glass wall it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly, and some bored kids wasting late evening hours on colorful online games. If Sophie's intel is to be believed, this is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building gazing at the sky, with a smartphone in one hand and a weapon in the other. You approach the man and tell him. I was supposed to meet Hope here. I'm looking for Hope. He gives us a soft chuckle. Yeah, you and me both. The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and down in silence. After a long-awaited, awkward moment, when you're ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. Come, right this way. He heads back into his cafe, and you follow his lead. When you make your way through the space of computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? Waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of a room and lets you inside. It will swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile grey corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. Feels like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light. A computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. As you do, you hear the doors shutting behind your back and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of a computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. The cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, you type in random string of characters, something goofy. Oh, that'll be me. Maybe it's your newfound sensibilities going haywire, but this place has a barely noticeable sleazy aura. Might as well go along with it. You input Pornos Collector and push the enter button. After a few seconds the chat window opens and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Hostage executioner. That's... I can't keep up with this. Oh my god. Okay, hold up, I want to do it from the beginning. Just to be clear, I don't have a wank rag. No, for sure. No, for real. Mouth was meant for Jerry, of course. Not much longer. Yeah, Jerry is a chat MVP. I mean, we haven't made it far more things in here. God, I'm so horny. Sure, I'd have a need to lie about this one. Literally who cares? You and me both, bozo? What? Wait, who's Pornos Collector? Pornos Collector? No idea. Any user wasn't here a second before. What the hell? Was anyone informed? No announcement. No, I wasn't. Hey, Jerry? Pornos Collector, identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. The chat goes silent, everyone's seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This might be a close-knit group. Better say something before we kick you out. Who are you people? I'm looking for Hope. Is she here? Who the fuck are you? This was meant to be a safe plot. Jeez, again. Okay, I'll just wait a little bit. Okay, hold up. See? This was meant to be a safe channel, investigating what went wrong. How did we even get in here? Stay calm. Can you get the location, Jerry? Yeah, sure. What's up, Jerry? Got a DM. To anyone interested? Oh boy, now you're in trouble, Pornos Collector. Yeah, you're gonna regret, dumbass, that day you decided to spy on us. Try to get chat under control. I don't think I have much more presence. Sadly. The waiter brought me here. Calm down, fuck off. Who brought me here? I thought this is where I can meet Hope. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit, Jerry. How are things on the other end? Got the info, nice. You wanna die, asshole? You will die. Mowing at everyone sentences Pornos Collector to death. I'm literally on my way to kill you right now. Yeah, sorry to inform you, you're about to die. Rip, bitch! You You're getting your slow throat slit right here, right now. Split second after you read the message, you feel someone's arms tightening around your neck. A violent return to reality catches you off guard. A jolt of panic rushes through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily. You've come to the round chat room, motherfucker. A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear, and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with. Last words. You chatter up success. Good luck, I can't die. Yeah, let's go with that one. You chat room success. Hey, that's just rude. Hey, that's just rude, but I still laughed. Your hand holding your chin shifts its position slightly. Don't struggle, or I will break your windpipe, or my phone, which would end even worse for you. Sounds of a camera shatter and lights flashing. Did I just take some selfies with you? Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go. We can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mr. Intruder, pretty please. The mysterious assailant loses their grip on you and gently pushes you away. You quickly turn to take a good look at them. Well... yeah, I just want to have a second to look at this. Interesting, is what I would say. Let me just finish this. A pale blonde woman in her 20s giving you slight judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. First you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. Then you take note of her tattoos. Sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At first glance it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you for a second. Gave you a scan, huh? Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's cabin without her permission. As she's back to her phone, with her relatively small build, it's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to undead. And even compared to vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her. Calm yourself, man. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just, I feel stupid saying it out loud, a vibe check. A vibe check? Vibe check? Vibe check? Let's go with that one. Vibe check. Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet and about in a dangerous situation. I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries, but come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those. Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie. But you know, I can respect that dedication. It's amusing. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all games to us, no hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything. But, well, look, if we're gonna talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? About time, she asked. Note to self. She really loves the sound of her own voice. Sophie Langley sent me. I'm building a coterie. I need help. Let's go with that. I came to you because I need help. Help gives you a pitiful look. So do I. But I think therapy is a scam. She gets too close for comfort to give you a closer look. After a few seconds, some kind of realization dawns on her face and she points her finger at you. Wait. Shit, are you a new Langley plaything? Word seems to be getting around fast. Oh, of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she'd start building a network. Your missions tell me that could really come in handy then. But Langley, that's just a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Piss off, but then again, fucking carrot. She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself. Only part of it is audible. Is it just you, or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Another thing to keep in mind about Malkavians, sometimes they have split personality. And she could very much have that. Before you make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you, she focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her smartphone. Yes, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me, and that I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I proposed a little game. Hope absent-minded spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. When she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Oh, I don't have a good feeling about this. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. Oh. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you sparkly contrasts to ominous industrial walls. At the back there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet, with meat hooks hanging above. On top of the bed sheets you notice what seems to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment, and a camera. Wait a minute. You want my help? Underrate my cam show. Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion. Take it or leave it, buddy. We just became a kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. She's serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out of the door right now. I won't hold it a grudge. I've got better things to do. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap 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 tap. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the masquerade? High. Content warnings? Oh yes. So, do you take a job? I'm definitely out. I want none of this. Meat hooks, cam shows. I am out. I am so out. I am just into the stratosphere. Ah, but it's for the best, probably. Hope looks honestly disappointed. Not that you care much about what after that welcome and that offer. Alright, get out. Through the door, go right. Keep heading straight until you reach the stairs. Red door on the left. You should be able to find your way from there. She leads you on and shuts the door and you hurry behind it back. You follow her directions and eventually emerge from a labyrinth of grey corridors into a clustered back alley. Back on the streets again. Meeting Hope and deciding she's not the right fit for you didn't take too much of your time, but what should your next move be? Oof. Yeah, I don't want to deal with any of that.